Hi, you guys. I hope everyone is doing well. So I don't intend for this to be a long video. It's going to be short and to the point. I realize that we are very quickly approaching what would be the days which would correlate to some people's favorite rapture time possibility, which is the Feast of Trumpets. Do not get your hopes up. The concept of the final week of years is a very, very simple one that we have complicated the heck out of. Daniel's 70th week is one of 70 weeks of years. Weeks of years, as established in Leviticus, begin on Nisan 10. Every single one of Daniel's 70 weeks of years, including the final one, will begin and end on Nisan 10. The rapture is not an incident unto itself, meaning that it's not just an isolated event. It is something that happens as a result of a fulfilled promise. It's a promise fulfillment that we will be spared from the final 7 years, the final week of years. There is absolutely no reason why any of us should suspect that it will depart from the timing of the final week of years. It will be before the final week of years starts, but we shouldn't think that it will be some event which is unrelated to taking us out of here at the point where that needs to start. There is no reason to speculate that there's a gap. There's no scriptural support for that whatsoever. Literally, what we are told is that we will be spared from a period of specific judgment, specific wrath, which the final week of years is. The final week of years will begin on Nisan 10, and the second coming will be on Nisan 10, as is structured when the weeks of years were set up originally. The first 69 weeks of years followed that same thing. They begin with the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, which happened in Nehemiah 2 in the month of Nisan, unto the Messiah the Prince, which was Nisan 10, the triumphal entry. The final week of years will not begin on the Feast of Trumpets. It will begin on Nisan 10. The rapture will be correlating to that start date because the only thing that we were told is that we're going to be spared from the period of 7 years. That means deductive reasoning, not idealistic thinking, not hope for getting out of here sooner rather than later. Realistically speaking, along with what we are told in the Bible, is that the rapture is a catching away, a forceful snatching away to fulfill God's promise that he will not allow us to be put through a period of time that Christ already paid for, which is part of a larger conversation, paid for the wrath. This is all wrath. We're going to be spared from wrath. The wrath of the Lamb, the wrath of God. It's a 7-year period of wrath. And we were told we'll be spared from that. So all that means is that we're gone before day 1 starts. That's it. Probably the day before or even the moments before. But it won't be a period of time before, because that would separate the rapture from the start of the 70th week, and those do not belong separated. They belong specifically connected because the rapture is only fulfilling God's promise that we won't be here for it. Therefore, it's going to occur at the last moment. And we go to 2 Peter 3 for that. Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us who are not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. There is no reason to suspect that God is going to remove us before that, some arbitrary time period. What about the people that come to faith between that, if there's a gap between that event and the start of the 70th week? Well, they would still meet the same preconditions to be spared from wrath that we did, by virtue of the fact that they believed before the 70th week started. So then you would have to have a multiple rapture scenario, which the Bible does not support whatsoever. So long story short, weeks of years, study it out. They have a very specifically designed beginning and end date, which is Nisan 10. The command was given in Leviticus 25 to establish them when they came into the promised land. Joshua 4:19 pinpoints that they came up out of the Jordan and camped in Gilgal on the east border of Jericho on the 10th day of the first month. 4 days later, they celebrated the Passover. And that's all you need to know about that conversation. Daniel's 70 weeks are weeks of years, which automatically means that every single one of them begins on Nisan 10. The first 69 did, the final one will as well. Get Feast of Trumpets out of your head. It is not helpful to this conversation whatsoever. Having said that, I will bid you all a good day.